Hey everybody, you're listening to The Ox and the Rat, the show where we put eternal truths to the test of modern times. I'm your host, The Ox.
And I'm the Rat.
How's it going over there?
It's going well. Feeling good. Feeling energized.
Energized? Anything new and exciting?
Nothing new and exciting. There's not a lot going on this summer for me. How about you?
What are you occupying your time with?
These days I've started doing a bit of weightlifting finally.
Is it with water jugs?
No, I'm actually using the clickable adjustable dumbbells.
The ones
that
I gave you.
You
actually.
sold me.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I didn't give them to you, but I do appreciate
I had to buy them.
You're buying them off of me. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Are you enjoying them? You found that that there's that one weight class that won't fit because it doesn't sit in right.
It doesn't click in.
Yeah.
I haven't got to that weight class yet. I'm still using the lower.
You'll get there.
And I finally realized that the bench can go down to 5.
Oh my God! Yes, of course it can, man. Yeah, that's the whole point.
I was like, this is a stupid.
It declines all the way. When I had it, I was using it decline, flat, and incline, which was why I got it. Actually, it had to.
Okay, so it does go in past
yeah.
horizontal.
Oh yeah, and that's really awesome because you can attack it from all directions. But hey, that's a subject for my other show, the working out with the ox, or I don't know, maybe that's not. I've got to think about that a little bit more. Anyways, so today we have a classic tale, a classic one, and I'm almost certain that you don't know how it goes, even though you're gonna say, "Oh, that one." We're gonna listen to the tale of the Hare and the Tortoise.
Oh, that one,
or also known as the Tortoise and the Hare, right? One's fast, one's slow. You know the whole story, right? It's been retold a million times, but it's incredibly short on here. It's a little bit different. I actually like it. But yeah, we'll see how everybody else does. Are we ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. The Hare and the Tortoise. A hare was making fun of the tortoise one day for being so slow. "Do you ever get anywhere?" he asked with a mocking laugh. "Yes," replied the tortoise, "and I get there sooner than you think. I'll run you a race and prove it." The hare was much amused at the idea of running a race with the tortoise, but for the fun of the thing he agreed. So the fox, who had consented to act as judge, marked the distance and started the runners off, just noticing that the fox is something that might want to eat both of these. Let's see where it goes. The hare was soon far out of sight, and to make the tortoise feel very deeply how ridiculous it was for him to try a race with a hare, he lay down beside the course to take a nap until the tortoise should catch up. The tortoise, meanwhile, kept going slowly but steadily, and, after a time, passed the place where the hare was sleeping. But the hare slept on very peacefully, and when at last he did wake up, the tortoise was near the goal. The hare now ran his swiftest, but he could not overtake the tortoise in time. Do you want to guess the moral of this story, Rat?
Don't take too many naps.
A good good one to live by, for sure. Although I'm a big fan. I've become a huge fan of naps. I used to hate on them. Are you a napper?
Not really. I try not to, because it will just end up in, like last night, I think I fell asleep about 4. And then
4 a.m.?
4 p.m. with a nap.
Okay.
And then I woke up, I don't know what time, and then I just went to bed.
Oh, that's...
slept until 7.
Wow. That's impressive. I can't. I'm an awful sleeper. But the moral is the race is not always to the swift. I could certainly learn something from this because I feel like I've been running my life on diesel ever since I came back to Canada, trying to figure a whole bunch of stuff out. So, geez, I could certainly relate that to my own life. But I don't know. I'll leave it to you to get started if you want.
Can you read that moral one more time?
Sure. The race is not always to the swift, meaning the swift don't always win the race, I suppose.
Yes. The rat race of life.
Oh, yeah. The rat race. Do you feel like you're in the rat race, Rat?
I feel like I'm in the rat race. I'm just plugging along in the peloton.
Oh, it'd be nice to have a peloton.
I'm not. The peloton is the group of bikers in the race, I believe.
Oh, I was
And
thinking
then
about the Peloton exercise bike. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's where they get the name.
Gotcha.
So then they all sit in the group, and then guys and gals take off from the group, and those are the leaders of the pack. And then they'll drive the race, the pace of the race. And then when they get tired, they can go back to the peloton, and another team member might take over, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I'm constantly in the peloton and never taken off into the front. So let's see. So one quote that comes to mind would be from somebody asked Warren Buffett. They said, why doesn't what you do in investing is very simple and easy to replicate. So why don't you think other people don't replicate your investment style? And he said, basically, they want to get rich quickly. So his investment style is just plugging away, doing whatever he does. I don't know what he does, but it takes a long time to accumulate wealth, whereas most people just want to get it right away.
Oh yeah. No, that's a good point. Well, he was the big guy, like the power of compound interest, right? And I just recently finished working on a financial literacy course I'm helping a family member out with, and that was one of the things, right? It's not always if you start early, and you're consistent, turns out better in many cases, and certainly more likely to turn out better than, the short-term focus that a lot of people have. And I guess that's what happened to the hare. I think so. And I think I could learn something perhaps, although I don't know, circumstances have put me where I am. I feel like, ever since I came back to Canada, and that's where I am. It's just been nonstop. Like everything has been, I had like maybe a couple months to catch my breath after leaving where I was and then coming back, and like ever since maybe about a month after that, like it's just been constant, like, gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta figure this out, I gotta figure that out. If I'm gonna make this life work, I gotta do this. And before, like, I realized like I didn't, it was a very different life. I was busy, but I didn't feel like I was on this, like, this constant race and this crazy pace that I'm on right now. And I don't know whether I think it's right or wrong. It's probably just the situation. Like trying to set up a new life is a lot different, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess it depends. The race isn't always to the swift, but you know what? Like sometimes you got to be crazy swift, and sometimes you got to go for it. But I'm real tired of it, and it's been about 2 years now, or well, a year and a half, and I really wish things were simpler, slower, and more consistent, as opposed to trying to like stack thing after thing after thing and just burning myself out.
So this is an example of when you've kind of burnt yourself out. You're saying?
Oh, right now?
This period of time, yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm really tired. I think the whole COVID thing has made it worse, because it was easier before to lose myself in the race. And I was making strides, and I have made gigantic strides in that time, but like I sometimes I just like I don't even know what I'm trying to do a little bit. Like I just you go into school and you're working full time and you're doing this and you're doing that, and like I feel like I'm just trying to fill time rather, or like try to distract from whatever the race is. So if I'm always busy, then I don't recognize, where I am, or what might not be where I'd like it to be, or whatever. But maybe I'm getting a little bit off track there. I'm busy, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So the race that they're trying to allude to, I guess, for modern times, for me, it seems like the race of basically wealth accumulation.
Yeah,
in my mind, that's the race. Because what is the point of what we're doing? Really, is everybody's just trying to make some money.
Yeah.
Essentially, you want to be satisfied in what you're doing, but essentially, all we're trying to do is make some money, so you can have a house, and then you can kind of relax a little bit more once you have a house and not a giant mortgage,
I guess.
And you want to have the freedom to be able to like go travel and.
Yeah, that brings up a lot of good questions for me. Okay, so my parents are retired. I'm glad that they're here, and they're still happily married and everything. But I can't help but notice or think. So I'm projecting potentially, but I don't think I'm too far off. I think retirement's a kind of a crazy idea. I think the race. I don't think it's about avoiding the race. I think it's not like about getting to the finish line so you never have to race again. I think we're always constantly in a race. And if you're not going somewhere, then you have no purpose, right? Like I can't imagine, for example, not working. It wouldn't, and there's great stuff, I've heard examples of like great podcasts I listen to, Money for the Rest of Us, the host whose name eludes me, he said, like, it's not about retirement, it's about settling. I was like, oh, that's so good. He's like, so you settle for that hobby you always wanted to do. You're working, maybe you turn that into that side business becomes your main business because you love it.
Yeah. Or you have the freedom or the luxury to plug away at whittling on the porch. And then eventually you're like, actually, I'm pretty good at this. I could probably sell these little trinkets that I got.
Hell yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe the problem is not. Yeah, maybe the problem is. I don't know. Maybe just kind of like not being aware of what this is. Like, this is always a race. We're always doing it. We need a goal. We need somewhere to go. And Tortoise had the goal. He got there. Tortoise was near the goal, and he got to where he needed to go. He got there in his own time, and probably had a lot of time to think and reflect on things along the way. Whereas somebody else, rushed halfway and then stopped, and then got beat.
Kept going,
I guess. I don't know. Maybe.
But I don't know. This might be one that I say that I think is not really true. Because if we're trying to say that the tortoise, he won, but it was great because he took his own time and he plugged away slowly, and then he won. But the rabbit also took off, got way ahead, advanced, let's say, in his career, and then he paused. He was able to relax for a bit, and then he took off running again, and he lost the so-called race. But if he ran the race fully, he would have won, sure.
Yeah.
But the tortoise, it's not like he made record time or anything. He just plugged away, and then he finally finished. So the rabbit plugged away, stopped, and then plugged away again, and then he finished also. It's not as if he never finished the race.
Yeah.
If we're trying to say that finishing the race at your own time is great, that's exactly what the rabbit did too.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Actually, well, yeah, I guess maybe what you're focusing on is like to each his own, or we all get to where we need to go in the end. Not necessarily that the race is not always to the swift. Like the swift will win the race if they're focused. So maybe for me, the more I keep thinking about distraction and focus, right? Maybe the hare was in it for the wrong reasons, right?
Yeah.
The-
Yeah. So you may have to focus on other aspects of it, I guess. So the hare, he could have finished. He wasn't lazy. He was trying to make it more competitive.
Yeah, the more I think about this, I'm like, that hare was all right.
He's trying to make it fair. He's like, well, let's let him catch up a little bit. It might be a better moral if the rabbit took off and he was just going, and he like snagged on a tree branch or something, and then broke his foot and he couldn't make it to the end.
He rushed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know that that's true. Like the whole like tortoise going slowly and steadily. I think that is fundamentally anti-modern times. If I think about it, like, man, I do everything. Like I like I'll do anything because I feel like I've adopted and I've needed to adopt this whole fail fast, learn fast mentality. I think I've mentioned it before. Like, you know, I used to get really discouraged when something would happen, and like I'd try it and I'd be like, oh no, it didn't work, so I'm never doing it again. But I'm like, we're gonna do it again. Let's go again. Like, let's do it. Next, let's try it again. Well, make it sourdough bread. Well, this one sucked. We're gonna do it again. Well, that's frustrating, but I'm gonna do it again and again. And eventually, I got good at it. I'm not really talented at anything. I guess that sounds horrible for me, but maybe I'm not talented at anything. But I've become talented through my constant, like, to this, like, steady but not slow. So against the whole tortoise thing. Approach to life. I'm constantly like going for it, like I remember, running a 1K was so tough for me when I started running because I never ran. And then, I just kept doing it, and eventually it was like, wow, I'm running a 5K and I'm actually pretty good at it. And then it just keeps going like that. But there's a lot of people who are going to be halfway like the hare. They're gonna try it, they're gonna go all out, and then they get upset or something, and then that stop is because they got upset and they never finish the race. So that's a totally different thing. But
yeah, I don't think that fits with the hare because the hare was just like, I'm gonna slow down, let this guy catch up.
He was arrogant.
That was a part. He didn't fail and he didn't quit because he was tired. But he had arrogance, and he thought this person could never catch up. So maybe it's about your mindset and looking at people that have less than you, and you think like they'll always be less than you because you got so far ahead in life, and you're way above them. But eventually, if you keep plugging away, saving your money, doing your education maybe, or working on a skill, eventually you're going to catch up, maybe even surpass that person.
Yeah, I think if I'm going to put like a thumbs up, thumbs down to this, it's really going to rest on that slow but steady, because I don't agree with the slow part, but I agree with the steady part, And of course, there's that whole thing.
Steady and don't give up.
Yeah, which I would just like break down to, or just dissolve to steady, right? Because steady is consistent. So maybe consistency. The race is not always to the swift. It may be to the consistent, right? I'll tell you about running. It's an interesting thing. I used to, I did my first full professional. That's the wrong word. Official 5K, like the week after my last chemotherapy treatment, when I was declared cancer-free. And I was so proud of it, but I never recovered. I've only recently recovered from that, and that was like a year and a half ago, because I went all out, and in my head I was like, got to do it. Everybody's like, whatever I had to do to get through it, and it was an amazing time. But I had hip flexor injuries for the longest time, and I was always trying to be as fast as I possibly could. And one thing that I changed recently with that it was that I started doing like what's called zone 2 cardio, which is, almost just to the point, you're running to the point where it's slightly difficult to have a conversation with somebody else next to you. You could do it based on heart
Hmm.
rate. And I actually got better from it. Like it was really slow at first, but then I monitored my heart rate and kept going, and I got so much better at it over time. Like all the metrics moved in the right direction, time, heart rate, like breathing and the whole thing. So there's something to that steady bit. Swift, you're gonna make some mistakes, like I did. So maybe Swift isn't right, but I'm really owning in on consistency here.
That's why I wish the rabbit made a mistake in like got too tired because he's going too fast or something like that.
Yeah.
It was more of an arrogance thing, as you said. It
Mm.
wasn't like, yeah. So I think it could be switched a little, in my opinion, Aesop.
Mm.
I don't know if I have, I guess for a personal one, being the tortoise, I've always kind of plugged away at like Photoshop, and I started getting into Illustrator and stuff. I've kind of done that since high school. And I feel like that's been one of those steady, constant things in my life. And now I have people asking me like, oh, can you do this logo, or can you take a look at this or that? So now I've gotten to the point, it was a long time. I could have done it a lot faster if I kind of specialized in university. But through plugging away and learning more, I've gotten to that level where I think, I don't know, who knows, but I think I'm probably as good as somebody that focused on that in university. So they sped ahead, did it through university, but I plugged away in the background, like as a hobby.
Yeah.
And I think I've caught up. I'm not as specialized, say, like I couldn't do anything in HTML or whatever, but just focusing on Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff like that. Obviously, they're going to have some different techniques, but my results, I think, could be as good potentially.
Well, that's a good point. I think that brings up the whole question of range. And I'm a strong believer in range. I have to be, because I, I have to have it. Not that I have it by choice, but that my life's brought me to this point, moving from, being a classroom teacher to being in the realm of adult education now. Like, I'm really a lot of people that I know, not everybody. I'm not going to do the whole Trump thing. Everybody says no, but
I'm
like,
a great person.
yeah, nobody says that about me, so we don't need to worry about that. But a lot of people are surprised by how many interests I have, and sometimes I surprise myself too. But they're more than interests in a lot of ways. Like I have a lot of experiences and expertise, and like whether it's brewing or photography or now writing or educational research, blah blah blah. Like just comment. Like I'm able to hold a conversation about just about any topic, just because I'm well informed about a variety of things, and I'm not pulling my own. I'm not tooting my own horn here. I just am that way. Because I never really focused in one area. And I'll tell you, man, like, again, going back on harping about how much I have disliked my experience at university, going back there, like, there are people there who have never left academia, and you know who they are. You know exactly who they are. They're the kind of people who just talk about problems, and they love problems, and they just want to talk about the problems because that's the easiest possible thing you could do, especially when nobody's asking you to provide real solutions, right? It's divorced from reality, and it's just like this endless problematization of life. And and also these people who focus on difference. Like there's so much more that binds us than separates us, and it's weird how I feel like I'm like out on a limb saying that. I shouldn't be. It's just common sense, but it's that range, that experience of life that I've had from meandering about and like making mistakes, screwing up, big time in some cases, and having these weird experiences all over the world in the strangest things happening that you can't explain, that give you like that range of a perspective and interest that allows you to be, in the end, like you say, somebody who's probably better at something because you're able to integrate A, B, and C to create D, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And I was thinking maybe, no, I'm not going to go there. So I had a similar kind of experience too with university, because I did my degree and then I went and I worked abroad for 4 years. And then I came back, and a lot of people just did, and then I did another degree, basically. So the people that I was in there with, I think most of them did their 4 years, and then they went into this other degree program.
Oh, yeah.
And then you could see, like you're saying, you could see those people. Not that it was bad or good, but for me, I think it was better because I came back and I had worked and for 4 years, and then I came back and I'm like, oh man, this is easy. Where a lot of people were stressing out with the assignments and everything because it was a 1 year program.
Yeah.
You had a lot of courses going on, a lot of assignments going on. But I was like, this is not so bad. This is it's better than working because I'm not working right now. And I'm just doing some assignments. I'd get them done early even. And I was pretty much stress free for the year. The only stressful part maybe is just doing the in public portion, I guess, of like putting your studies to the test.
Yeah, that was
But even that, I'd already had some experience in it, so.
Yeah. I think I don't know how much we're on topic right now, but
well, I was going to bring it back. Sorry to interrupt, but I was going to say that we're both hares in that situation.
Yeah. Raced forward, stopped, maybe took a look around.
Or no, my bad. We were the tortoise.
The tortoise.
Because we slowly went, I guess. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of went slowly through university to begin with, but I did university, I got some real world experience, and then I went back to university again. So other people that graduated were probably like 23, I was probably 27. Although they sped through, I was the hare. I got it done eventually 5 years later, but
You were the tortoise.
Yeah, I was the tortoise.
Uh-huh.
That's how I was going to try to relate this back.
That makes sense. Yeah, I was never in a rush. Like when I did my graduate degree, it was like, or my postgraduate. Yeah, my first graduate degree, it was like an afterthought. It's like, well, I don't know what I'm doing after this. So I was like, I might as well continue on this, see where it goes. And yeah, and then it was just this weird odyssey of like, who knows? I don't even know what I'm doing with my life. And then you end up at some point quite successful in some degrees. I never thought I'd be where I ended up, but where I ended up wasn't so bad. It was actually pretty good. And now maybe it's a little bit different just because of the circumstances and the age and stuff, but I've got to redefine it again. But I think I've got so many interests going on, and hopefully I'll find that same point.
Do you think that speeding ahead, just going degree to degree to degree, was a good thing? Or would you have rather have left and then come back and been like, actually, I don't want to do that?
Yeah, I'm definitely...
History degree, let's say.
Well,
master's.
Well, right now I'm definitely reconsidering, but I think that it fits my long-term goals in the industry my newly adopted industry. I don't know that it's the right thing to do, but like as Winston Churchill said, when you're in hell, keep walking. So I'm going to keep walking and figure it out. I don't know. Everything was so in flux when I left where I was to come back, that I just hedged bets like crazy. So one of those bets was, well, I might as well apply to grad school again. And then I was like, just in case I come back. And
You mean coming back recently
yeah,
to Canada?
yeah. And that's the only reason I'm in it, because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay here, but if I go back, I better have an objective in mind. So that's that. So there I am again, just stumbling through life. Finally, I've got a good. I know this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, but it's important to be a little bit more tortoise-like, perhaps, in terms of having a goal in mind at the end. But life takes you in weird directions.
Yeah. So don't be hare-like, and unless you're super content on your path, and never think that it's going to change, although it probably will, but don't be hare-like and just check off boxes that are normal, the normal way of doing things. Like, go to school. Okay, now go to school again. Now get a job in that field, and then keep going. And then you realize, oh, actually I don't like this field or anything about it, because I'm just sitting here in a cubicle or whatever.
You don't want to be like, that's what I realized, and I think the most courageous thing I ever did was making that career change, but it's still in flux. Well, let's come down on a decision here. For me, I'm totally against this one, man. I think we've destroyed this.
Yep.
The race is not always to the swift, sure. Yeah, you want to be a little bit more tortoise-like. I don't like that O-I-S-E at the end of tortoise. You don't want to be a tortoise, or you do in a lot of ways. But sometimes you want to be a hare. Like you've got to be sometimes. This story really should have been more, in my mind, about don't be arrogant, A, and B, be consistent. Because I agree with the tortoise steadiness, but I disagree with the slow. I want, maybe I'm thinking of an insane chimera, a rabbit turtle with something like that.
Yes. How would it slow it down though?
Well, it's got a shell on its back, so
I guess it just makes it heavier.
Well, it would just be a shitty animal because it wouldn't have any of the advantages of a rabbit, and it would have all of the disadvantages of being a turtle. It would be a medium,
kind of like a dachshund, a dachshund or whatever.
Dachshund.
So it's got short little legs that are just like going really quickly,
but it's getting nowhere.
Rabbit-like,
yeah.
But it's got, because it can't even extend its like back legs because the shell's blocking it.
No,
so it can go quickly, but
it would be a medium speed, fluffy, partially protected animal. So it's like it checks none of the boxes for survival of the fittest. Right? Those ears aren't going back in the shell. I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah. So we're saying thumbs down for this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The race
do better than that one.
The race may not always be to the swift, but the race sure as shit ain't to the slow these days, man. Gotta fail fast, learn fast. And I think I just remembered in saying that the other saying that my girlfriend told me the other day. She said, "I hate it when you say these two things." She's like, I can remember the one, but she couldn't remember the second. I was like, I'm gonna remember it at some point. I'm pretty sure that's it. Fail fast, learn fast. Be a hare toys. Be a hare toys.
Hare toys. All right. Well, we will see you next week with another wonderful fable.
All right, friends. Stay hare toysy.
And let us know. What do you think? Are you a hare? Are you a tortoise? Do you agree with this?
Or are you a hare toys? And you're
give us some examples.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. See you later.
Later.